This is Too Long for a Voice Note, a podcast about everything and nothing at the same time. Presented by Claire
and Enzo. Our podcast is produced in London. Some conversations are just too long for a voice note.
Hey, he's Enzo.
And she's Claire.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note.
Welcome, everyone. Hello, Claire.
Welcome back. Hello, Enzo.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
How was your week?
Was all good. It's all good. It's been like a long week. I moved to a new house, so you know how it
Just
is.
your hair a little bit there. You moved to a new house.
Thank
You
you.
have to keep it fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion.
So yeah, I moved to a new house, and you know what? Everything comes with a new house, like
a lot.
boxes, things, organizing stuff. But I'm excited. So finally,
You're happy with the new house.
super happy.
We
So
won't say the
can't wait.
location, just
We
in
won't.
case Enzo has a crazy stalker out there.
You know, like the fence
For privacy
thing.
reasons, we'll keep his location private.
But yeah, so exciting to be honest to have a new home, and you know it's cool to like the new start, the new beginning feeling. I always like it, and also it's a
Definitely.
different
Nice.
area I used to live, so it's
Yeah.
like a brand new
It's
situation.
like a brand new area for you in London, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you definitely you're moving around. Though. You live south.
I live
Because
south.
you lived in Brixton
now,
when
now
you
it's
arrived.
north, and I've been
Then,
west. I
yeah,
think
west.
east is missing only.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people live really like. Well, I
East.
guess like east, kind of,
Like-
you know, like Shoreditch, kind
I
of.
guess,
way,
yeah,
it'd be
but
cool.
yeah.
yeah.
How's been your week?
It was good.
Hmm.
Busy. I mean, England are in the final.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Well,
Um,
on Sunday the game is
yeah,
Italy versus England.
So
England.
yeah,
That's
We-
how you're feeling about it because you must be split.
I
right?
am split, so I will be supporting Italy. Isn't it weird that when this episode comes out, we'll like when you guys
It's
are watching it, I don't know
Yeah.
if stuff like that, it's like time travel blows my mind. But when you guys are watching this, a winner will be
One of the
decided.
yeah, it's
But
true.
I have to say, I haven't actually told you this yet.
Yeah.
Last night I did have a dream amongst many other dreams, but I had a dream that England won.
Really? Do you think it's maybe like it's like a
premonition.
premonition? Maybe.
I don't know. I hope
But
not.
so your first option would be Italy. Your second one will be England.
Yeah, I think I just have like a soft spot for the Italian team because, well,
The
obviously-
team of the guys from the team.
well,
Well-
and maybe not. I don't know. Just like I think there's just like a cool vibe.
Yeah.
My team is Juventus, because my nonna was from that area.
Oh really? Your team is Juventus?
Have we never spoken about
No,
this?
that's crazy because my brother's favorite team is Juventus, so that was mine as well because of my brother. And I have like I had like a T-shirt and everything
I
back
had
in
a
the
shirt
day.
as well.
Yeah, like a black and white with
Black
the
and white.
stripes.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's super crazy.
That's so funny, but Juve are a
Yeah.
really cool team, so I would always
They were
support
very
Juve.
cool.
And then, like, obviously, there's lots of Juve players there, Azzurri, blah blah blah. I love their style,
Yeah.
the whole thing. But very, very great for England.
That's
you
very
know.
cool. Yeah, let's see. It would be. I mean, I've never been like like an event like that in England. That England wins here since I'm living here. So
Never. I assume you'll be supporting Italy.
yeah, of course I was supporting Italy. Of course,
Yeah.
like don't kick me out from the country, please. I'll be supporting Italy, but England is great. No,
Exactly, yeah.
but it would be interesting if England wins. It's like
I hope people don't go crazy.
because
though.
people were crazy. Yeah, let's see. To be honest, I think I watched like half of one match of this Euro. I didn't have like the
Yeah.
moment
You
to
weren't really
watch it.
into
But
it.
yeah, this time I wasn't even paying a lot of attention to it. But let's see. Maybe if I watch the final, let's see how it goes. But anyway, I hope Italy wins. And
Yeah.
if England does, it will be interesting to see how it's gonna go.
But it's a very like
Crazy.
positive thing, I think, for England and like for sport, because the English national team is like not great, as we know.
Okay.
Like it's actually funny because I saw my mum yesterday and she was literally saying like that she remembers that when they were in the final last time, like 1966.
Oh, wow.
Because
So
that was the
it's a
last time.
long-
So she was like my mum loves football, so like she was like my entire lifetime
Waiting
I've
for
been
this.
waiting for this. So
That's
I think
kinda cool.
it's very emotional for people, you
And,
know.
and I guess if they win, people will go crazy here. It will be crazy. It's kind of exciting, but also it's a bit like
Terrifying.
It's like-
I guess same for Italy as well, though, right?
yeah. But anyway, let's see how it goes.
There we go.
Exciting. There we go.
Well,
so
I
are we
think
ready
who
to
wants to
chat
go-
a bit this
Who wants
week?
to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
So we're ready for
Claire's secret topic of the week. I wanted to talk about something that happened this week at work. So I had a meeting, your little face is like, I had a meeting
what happened.
with a colleague
Okay.
who is younger than me. And I was kind of
How
helping her with
younger
something.
is she?
I would assume she's in her early 20s.
Okay, so a bit. Yeah.
So she's a bit significantly younger. And we were just talking about like the work that we do and different platforms that we work on. And she said something really interesting, actually. So we were talking about a TV show that she was working on for work.
Yeah.
And basically she'd said that another colleague didn't want to work on those shows because they triggered her. And actually used the word triggered.
Which is very okay.
But that was all fine. I was like, and it really surprised me actually, and we'll go into this, but I just thought it was so interesting that she actually said that the girl had said that she was triggered, and so therefore they had switched up the work and actually given away the channel to the girl that I was talking to.
So basically she was like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Because the topic of the...
For mental health reasons.
Wow, okay.
Because she didn't like it contained like murder and blood, like some of the shows that we work on.
She
she felt uncomfortable. She felt triggered, but she said triggered. And I thought this was absolutely fascinating, actually, because I thought, like, I would never say that at work. And I think that we're both pretty, like... I don't know if it's okay to use this phrase, but I will say it, like, pretty, like, woke.
Woke.
Is that like, are we cool enough to say that? I mean, like I'm very open on this podcast about like mental health. I've had therapy for ages and it's not like I was surprised by that. But then again, I think I wanted to ask you, is this a Gen Z millennial thing? Because clearly like she's only a few years younger than me, or these girls are only a few years younger than me. But would you say that? Like if is that something that you would say openly to like your manager, like I'm being triggered by this?
I don't think so. Also, I don't think I would use the word triggered.
Would you use the word triggered in your general life though?
No, I mean, I found the word funny. I think I found the word funny at this point. Not funny, but like, because they use it a lot, for example, in social media, but also for like, kind of like irony. They use it like, whatever word triggered. Yeah. Because not... like to make fun of something or memes or some stuff. For me, that I have that word in my head like that. It's kind of like ha ha ha. But I don't think I would use that word in that case. Also because I think where I'm thinking we're going with this topic is like, it's interesting how the new generation are more like, if they don't want something, they don't like something, they will say it. Yeah. And they won't. I think it's part of what they say, like, oh, they're so like... sensitive, or they're so whatever, because actually if they don't feel something they will say like, no, I feel bad about it, which I think is a good thing to an extent, of course, but I think it's a good thing. But I think our generation is not like that. If you're at work, you need to do the work and that's it.
It's funny, isn't it, though, because there's like that stereotype of millennials, which we both are, of being like, it's like the snowflake generation, like very sensitive and that kind of thing. But actually I felt like, I mean, I obviously want to preface this by saying, like, I didn't think that was a bad thing at all. Yeah. I was just very... I think my reaction was quite neutral. Yeah. But it surprised me. And I didn't think, like, oh, wow, that was so fussy or anything like that. I think I just thought, oh, wow, that's something that it never even entered my mind.
But do you think if there's something, like, triggers you? Like... I mean, I don't want to say anything in particular, but I don't know. Let's say, like, you have a phobia or you have, like, a trauma or something really specific, and then you have to work with that. Yeah. Do you think you will say no if it's for work? Because if it's a regular life, you can be with me and you can be like, oh, and so I want to talk about it because it triggers something in me, and that's, of course. But at work, because we believe, work is very, like, it is what it is, and you have to do it because they're paying you for doing it. Will you, like, say, like, oh... I wonder, for example, like, if it's a case of, for example, like, a woman that, I don't know, but she got raped, let's say. And then what she has to do is relate with raping. And she actually, obviously, she felt affected by it. But I wonder if we will just go with it, or the woman will go with it and try to finish it and, like, suffer through the process. Yeah. Or say something, I guess, the new generation, what we're talking about, they will say, like, I'm not feeling comfortable. If you don't like it, well, I'm not doing it. It's very, like, that type of attitude.
It probably depends on the personality, though, as well, doesn't it? Like, less in generation, because I think some people... Well, I mean, I did have that at work. I was working on something that I really, really didn't like. Yeah. And I wouldn't say triggering, but I just really didn't like it. Yeah. Just because it was about messy houses. But
it was about potatoes and cats, and these are two things I hate. So why I would need to work on this?
Really, really bad, and I found it really hard because it was like
you
was
were
called
not interested
OCD cleaners, and like I felt like it was really like wrong and like using people's OCD and it was just really like.
But it's not like you were triggered.
I wasn't triggered, but I didn't like it. But I didn't say anything. But then that's the difference, right? Because you said you didn't like it and you're triggered. Mm-hmm. But there's a fine line. Am I being like insensitive? But like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like the word triggered now, like what you said, is being too freely used. Like every word that we ever have.
That's why I never use the word, because I think it's too freely used. It's a joke for me.
But actually, it is like a really important thing in psychology and for therapy to kind of. But it now it has kind of been diluted, and I think, like, I would probably take that a bit less seriously.
I get it. Maybe because of the content as well of everything with social media and all of that, which I guess
because you can't just say like, you know, for those of you who don't know, like I don't like potatoes, that's why Enzo made that reference, but I can't be like, oh, you're really triggering me by like trying to give me roast potatoes.
But you may say like, you may say as a joke.
Exactly. Yeah. But like you just, or like to make more of a serious thing, like, you know, like we have an argument and you say something and I'm like, I'm being triggered. But it's like, but actually like that's not, is that the right thing to say? Or is it like you're just kind of causing me a reaction that I don't like because I don't like conflict? But are that's you triggering? Different. Like it's, you have to be quite careful with these things in a way.
But also again, if she's that young, I guess that's the language they use now. I mean, the Gen Z generation. I mean, if we're gonna go there, like, I don't know, Twitter, well, more TikTok, Instagram, they have this all kind of language for all of that. So maybe for her, it's like she's a word that she used very loosely. I mean, probably, maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it's more serious.
Maybe it's more serious. Yeah. Maybe she was actually feeling really sick about it. It was something that was triggering something really bad on her. We don't know. But I think the cool part of this new thing with the new generation is that I think we may build something better for the future where we are we're all able to express something we don't like and we're not forced to, in the sense of you're not at work, you can do a lot of things that maybe because you're forced to do it, but if it's something that really makes you feel bad, probably you wouldn't say no because it's my job. But this new generation, they will be like, oh yeah, I think it's creating more boundaries around what we feel and what we do.
I think you're actually really right, and it's actually a really good point, because thing is, like, work can be really abusive, that's another word that gets thrown around quite lightly, but like it can be truly, and it can be. Of course, like we're in a very, very good situation. We're not talking about like actually abusive kind of workplaces, but like still in like the UK, for example, like workplaces can be really abusive, and like not being able to say no to, you know, over like working like overtime, we're not getting paid for it, like things that you really don't want to do, etc. So yeah, maybe it is good.
Yeah, because imagine, for example, if you work in a store, for example, and your manager is really aggressive in the way the manager speaks to you, and is like scream at you, like, you do that, whatever. And you may have like abusive parent, and that triggers something in you. Normally, I think you will just suck it up. Yeah. Because it's my job. But to the new generation, probably will be like, you don't talk to me like that. Yeah. I'm not doing you a favor. You're a pain to me because I'm giving you like something back, and you don't do that to me, kind of thing. And I think obviously that can go also the other way, because maybe everyone could be like really oversensitive, or they can fake some things to get away with it, but that will always happen, right?
Yeah, of course.
We can't just avoid that to happen, but it's human nature. But I feel it's really important that maybe I think it's a good thing overall, because I feel we are really oppressed, especially maybe not us that much, but I think our previous generation or parents, they were very like, this is a job, this is the thing, they suffer, blah, blah, blah. You can say no, your boss is your boss. You know, that type of mentality, which is really like toxic at the end. So I think that type of thing of feeling the confidence to say like, I don't feeling good with it, so I'm not doing it.
It's true.
Could be good in many scenarios, I guess. If in the right place and the right time, I think it can be good.
No, I know what you mean. It is good, and it is good that, like, I guess that's kind of the good thing about being more open about mental health, isn't it? Like, and you can kind of make a joke out of it and think like things get thrown around a bit too freely, but at least they're getting thrown around. It's probably better that way than like we don't know people. At least there's like a word for that reaction rather than like, yeah, like you say, just like a horrible feeling that you would kind of have to like suck up. So I think in general, like it is a positive thing. Whereas for us, I think we had to kind of like unlearn and learn quite a lot of stuff because we're definitely not Gen Z.
Yeah.
We're like definitely gone. He's 1989. So like,
thank you for making very clear, like we are out of it. We are gone. Not happening. Not part of it. Not ever.
You're like an 80s baby. At least I'm 90s.
I'm an 80s baby. I'm December 89, so I'm almost 90s as well, okay? Please respect me.
Wow.
That's an interesting thing, to be honest. I think it's a lot to think about it, but...
How do you think our kids would be? I know we talk about this all the time. I'm always like...
That's crazy, to be honest.
Will they be so like...
super woke.
So Enzo has got 60 seconds to tell us his thoughts on this topic. So
I'm gonna time it. I mean, you can have the honors.
Thank you.
This is like we have a small iPad this week.
A tiny iPad that you can fit in your pocket today. They've shrunk it.
They should have a name for this.
I know, right? It's actually such a huge phone, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
You have the bigger one than me, don't you?
Yeah.
The next one up.
Yeah, because
literally no one. And also for our audio listeners, they're like these
we're really sorry.
Like, but anyway, I'm holding a big phone. Yeah. Basically. Right. 60 seconds. Tell us your thoughts. Go.
Okay. Well, I feel it's actually, I do believe it's a good thing. And I think, like, who knows how this will change or how they will work in the future, but if we want changes, we need to make things differently, right? And maybe sometimes, yes, the generation can be a bit too sensitive, but also I think because they're more open and free to explore themselves, so maybe they allow themselves to understand what they feel, what they don't feel, what they don't like, and I think that's a good thing. But I think it will need to have adjustments also, because I feel not everything can be like, oh, this is too bad. Oh, because I can understand in a point why the new generation can be more like, they cry more about everything, but also they have less opportunities than they have in a way. Like, we always go there. But
10 seconds.
Last generation have more opportunity. Like, they have a house, they have a car, whatever. We don't have those opportunities, for example. COVID, they have COVID now, so... Anyway, I think...
I'm done, I'm afraid. Thank you.
I think it has to be longer. Thank you. Bye. It has to be longer than 1 minute. But yes, I think it's an interesting thing. I wonder how that's going to evolve in the future.
I think, you're right what you're saying. Like, it's not... things have to change in a way. Like, I don't know why I said that in such a dramatic way. Things have to change. But they do. And everything's always going to go like a bit extreme and then like calm down. But I do think it's a positive thing.
You need to go to extreme to then...
Yeah,
readjust.
I'm going to try it. And when somebody asks me to work more hours, I'm going to be like, it's really triggering. I shouldn't joke, but I'm going to be like, I feel so triggered right now. That I won't.
That's what I'm tell you when you are overworking me, Claire. I will be like, Claire, I'm feeling like so abused by you now with this.
When Enzo tries to like take more pictures of us for the podcast, I'm going to be like, please, a trigger. I don't want to. We're so rude. Obviously, like, if you do feel,
Yeah, this is a joke.
We're just joking about it, but...
this is comedy.
You're like, get alive, like, loosen up. You can have the tiny iPad back now, so...
Thank you for getting back my tiny iPad. Okay.
I think it might be time for...
Enzo's secret topic of the week. Okay.
Sticky.
Okay, so... This time, I wanted to chat with you something that we already discussed over our tiny iPads, our chat, over WhatsApp. I think it was the last week that I texted you like at 5 p.m. one day, like, oh, I'm thinking about like death.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that.
Randomly. And of course, Claire replied, she will never ask me like, what you think about that at 5 p.m. She was like, oh, yeah, okay. Tell me more. It's like, why? Why we're talking about it this time? Who knows? But I was thinking about death, and I was thinking about purpose of life and like how we deal with all of this. And the thing is, I was thinking about getting older, right? And getting older and maybe feel like your life is done.
Is this because I said you were born in 1989?
You trigger me, Claire. You trigger that. That's the truth.
I realised I'm so close to death. I'm just joking. Sorry, carry on.
But maybe, who knows who you say to me that day that was triggering me thinking about death. Exactly. So anyway, the thing is like, I was thinking about like how difficult it is, because I feel sometimes, and I feel it happens a lot, that people when get older, they're just waiting to die vibes, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's a point of your life, and I see that happening a lot. Like, I don't know, you get in your 60s or your 70s, and your life becomes nothing. Of course, you have your family, maybe you're excited because you have grandchildren maybe, or they're getting married, or they have those events obviously fill your soul. But it's more, I'm talking about these people when they're getting older, are just like, I don't know, watching TV, or just every single day is the same. They wake up, they watch TV, they cook, and they falling into this kind of cycle of, I feel like, nothingness. There's nothing happening in your life. And I think that happens a lot when you, for example, after when you finish, like when you retire.
Yeah.
So what happened with life after that? You just like sit there and just wait until death comes to you and bye-bye? And that's something that makes me think a lot about the purpose and what you do and the hobbies and like what you do with your life while life is happening, kind of thing, right?
Totally.
And I think it's very connected about like the work culture we have, and how like maybe we believe, I mean, we as, you know, maybe this generation is a bit different, but like how like life is work, and how work is the root and the main thing of life.
Yeah.
You know, probably we see this with our parents or like uncles or family from the older generation, like, yeah, their life was the job they
completely.
did, and they have nothing else, because the other things were like the kids cooking and doing like the course and the thing, and that's it. So yes, that was actually what I was thinking when I was texting you this, and I was wondering like, what do you think about it? How do you think like you can keep like a purpose life, like a life with a purposeful life? How can you like, when it comes to the time, hopefully if we reach that age, who knows, this virus isn't thing, but if we reach to 70s, how you turn your life to something that is not just waiting to the end of it, because that scares me. Like,
me too.
If I reach that age that I feel like I may die in 10 years, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna feel in the last years, like it's just waiting until the last day, you know? It's what
interesting.
I mean?
I never really give that like section of life much thought. I don't know if you do
I do.
You do.
Like, I do sometimes.
Yeah, you really do. I wonder why.
I don't know. I think because I'm scared to have like a boring life.
Oh, no.
At the end of it, you know, I don't want to be like in the 70s thinking like, oh well, you know, because I heard that a lot. I heard that a lot, like, oh well, I'm old now, and whatever life is until I'm alive. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm waiting until life is over and that's it. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit and wait for death.
Yeah, something very, very tragic about that. Clearly, like waiting for death. I want to ask you if you think, and I wonder if this is cross-cultural, but I've noticed that maybe men let themselves go more, and older, like it tends to be like, and I know this from like, you know, our families as well, like, you know, that the man will kind of like retire and like not do anything and like maybe like gain weight and stuff and not have any whatever, but like you know, for example, like my mom, like she's so bloody vibrant and she's like early 60s and like doing like loads of degrees and like exercising, and like that isn't the case like the other way around. And I wonder kind of why that is, because I always see that you always see these like really cool like women who are older who are like sort of like really going for it. Of course there will be some women that don't, but that's one thing that I think of, and I wonder why you think that is, if you agree.
Well, I agree with that, and I think maybe it's related with maybe culture, because men are supposed to be the ones who works and provides and blah 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 blah.
And then their purpose is gone.
And the purpose is gone, because
sad.
What you do when your kids, I mean, if we're talking about like a traditional family setting, if what you do when you don't have the job anymore to provide to your family, when you don't have kids to take care anymore, when your wife, you don't need to provide anything else to your wife because you have your pension or whatever, and your purpose is just taking care of a family, which is what we're taught it should be. Like the man does this and that. Then you retire and your purpose is gone. And what is your new purpose? What if you don't find a new purpose? Or what if you don't cultivate a purpose during your life while you were taking care of a family, for example?
I think also it might be to do with like I think generally like women tend to have more friends than men.
True.
I think I know that's a big
point.
generalization,
But
it's like
true.
clearly not like in your. I would say in like
Also closeness. With the friendships.
closeness, and like maybe you would have invested in those relationships, and then you're always like your mum has like little friends as well. Like my mum too. Like it's just it is how it is kind of thing.
True.
I think there's that.
It's a part of us because women are allowed to be more sensitive as well. Men
and make more connections and all of that kind of thing. It's really, really sad that you see kind of men going that way.
True.
But
it's a common thing, you're right.
Yeah. Also, like when you said about work and why people give up, I think this is a really amongst like many other big problematic things about capitalism, and clearly there's not a good like alternative to this, but like when you're done with working, therefore then your purpose has gone. And I think we have a very toxic view. I don't know how it is in Latin America. I suspect that it might be a little bit different, because I know from my experience in Italy it's a bit different, but like here, and maybe I would imagine in like America, it kind of feels like old people are useless, and I think that's not true. And I think maybe in other cultures the grandparents are more involved, and like you can get like wisdom from the older people, for example, but I don't think we have that here. And it seems like old people, once they're useless, because the youth is work, right, in a capitalist society, so therefore like you're done. But actually there's clearly so many amazing, valuable things that like older people can give.
You don't disappear when you get older. You're still the same person. Of course, you may have less energy or less vitality or whatever, or you can run an hour, but it doesn't make you disappear. Which is, I think I understand what you say. I think it's a bit maybe different culture in Latin America. Maybe because, I mean, it's a truth. Like old people, they are. Probably it's very difficult to find a job for an older person. Like after 50s, it's a bit difficult. I think that maybe it's everywhere. Maybe some cultures are better at this. Latin America is the same, but I feel like grandparents, for example, older people, they change their role and they're more like you say, like the wisdom, the nurturing side, the ones that cook, the ones that put the family together, the ones that hold everything. So they become, I think, somehow like the base of the family, right? If you are talking in a traditional family, they're gonna be there for like taking care of the family. They're the one who do things. We do things for the grandparent.
But I think that's the case in our families, because we both have Italian grandparents, and that will be the case. But I don't. Some of my friends in the UK, I don't think that would be the case.
That's very interesting.
So I think it depends on like the culture of that, because I know in like some kind of like Asian families, like the grandparents live with them.
In Latin America, the same.
Yeah.
It's mostly like when you get too old and you can take care of yourself, or you are a bit older, you start living with your
But we have
family.
This tragic thing in the UK of like putting people in homes. Yeah. And it's really sad.
It's
and
sad.
scary.
It's a scary thing. It has always had the example of my grandfather. I mean, my grandfather, he died like 89 years old. He was very healthy overall. And you know, he died basically because my grandma died, and you know how it is. You know, they go basically when you're living your whole life together. It's the typical thing, but
sad.
It's sad. But he always had such a purposeful life because he was so curious all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he was cooking, he was painting, he was learning how to. I mean, I remember him like at 88, still wanting to learn new things, like. And he asked me how that computer works, how internet does, how that for like it's crazy, like how he always wanted to find purpose on everything. He wanted to learn. He wanted to be like understand what was going on. He asked me like how the phone is. If you send me a text, how it gets hit. You know, and then he was very creative. That was the thing. That it's easy when you're a creative person.
I think so.
Because he was painting, like building stuff. He was always with cooking because he loved cooking, so he was watching like TV shows with and he will like copy the recipes to have new recipe. He was like, I try something new, try it.
Yeah.
At his 88,
you know, personality. Do you always remember him always being like that?
He was always like
because
that.
That's the thing,
like
you can't. Because I bet he was like that as a young man.
Yeah, probably.
And then he was still like that, and like, you know.
But don't get me wrong, he has an awful life. I mean, he was after war, he has to move to a new country, no language, no idea what was happening. He has to work, he has no money. He's struggled. It's not like he had, I'm saying here, he's not like he has a privileged life, like he was a rich man. He had time to explore, like, oh, I'm going to paint today. I'm going to golf, and I'm going to, it's not about that. It was about personality, as you say, probably. because he didn't have the means to maybe allow himself to do anything else than work his ass off, but he still did it. And he was always exploring the other things he likes at the same time. And I think that gave him a purpose when he was getting old, because he was never stopped. He was always doing something different because he had many things that he liked to do. He wasn't never afraid to explore them, which is not common with old people.
No, you're right. And oh God, it's terrifying, isn't it? I think if you like, I think you'll be fine because you're very curious.
Hopefully. I mean, I have a good example with him, so I hope that stays with me.
And like, you know, your mum is very active as well, and like you're also active and curious, and you're always trying something new as a young person. So by the time.
And because also I don't believe like my job is my core. You know what I mean? I don't believe that's
different. Isn't it interesting? Because I think if we do make it there, let's see how it goes with global warming and all the virus, not to sound like a
like, and all the people that fucking eat meters around the world. But
maybe I'll be okay because I've been vegan for years. But like, for example, like I wonder what kind of old people we will be compared to like our grandparents.
It's gonna be a totally different story. It's interesting to see how it will work, but
and my mind is literally like being blown right now. I'm just like, but I think like the key to youth is like play, trying new stuff, there's actually I can never remember the name, but there's like this island in Japan where they have like the highest number of 100-year-olds. I'm going to leave a link in the description for you guys if you're interested. But they said like they've studied these people for years, and there's similar links, and it's all to do with like they try new things. They always they love like dancing. They or play like dance, exercise, etc. The body. Then they're very connected with their families and their grandchildren, so they have a sense of community, purpose. They eat really well because that's another really big part of it. It's a very simple diet. They also do things like gardening, which is like actual like physical labour, which we would have done back in the day that we don't do now. And you know, they're 100, but they look like they're 70. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
But those are the things that I think you can cultivate, and because you know also like there are young people, like people our age that aren't really like doing anything as well.
But I guess
like, it's a mindset.
It's a mindset, but I think we can change that. I think culturally we can do things to
completely
to help people to do things.
I'm
like thinking about everything.
What kind of old person do you aim to be?
I want to be a cool old person. I want to do a lot of things.
Okay, what's on your list?
I don't know. Like to
you're gonna be preserved like this.
I will be preserved. But
you think we'll still have the podcast?
Probably we'll have something else.
Well,
like,
no,
who knows what we're going to have.
I'll be like photo shoot.
Yeah.
But like just more like modest, maybe. Isn't it important to have a purpose now as well? Because I think in the times in my life when I felt most depressed is when I felt completely purposeless. And like there's just but like an important purpose. Yeah. And I thank God I really do feel like I have that now. But like when I quit acting and I didn't have anything to replace it with, I felt like I had no purpose, and that's when I was really depressed. So you're right, like having a purpose,
you need to have something.
And I think it's hard in that like later section of your life, because like you say, you think like, because now all we're thinking is forward to get where we want to go, but then you've got to where you want to go, and then you're like winding up your life basically. So it's kind
basically
of tricky.
The kids always try to find the purpose. It's not purpose like
exactly.
It has to be
like
small
you said with
things.
your granddad, like creative and
whatever
like,
makes you feel good. Whatever is makes you feel like it's worth it and make you happy and make you like open. Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying, isn't it?
Guys, I'm like, well, Claire.
And so, oh my god.
You have 1 minute now to give
Tiny
the
iPad,
final.
Tiny iPad
is back to tell me your final thoughts about how to maybe have a better like old days and not just waiting to die in a
God!
In a chair.
Okay.
You know, something more like exciting. So there you go.
Well, I think I haven't given this actually a lot of thought, but I think I will now. There we go. I think also, just like the key to youth is play, being vibrant. I think it's so important to have a purpose, to have a meaning, to keep things fresh and interesting throughout every stage of your life. And I think that like anything that you want in life, it's a habit, and you can build that if you want that more. Like if you want more, it's never too late to kind of change, and like it's never too late to bring something in, and it doesn't mean that you need to come from a wealthy background or you need to have loads of money or anything, but it truly is a mindset. Not to sound like a bloody like sports coach, but like mindset is everything. But it is, isn't it? Like mindset is really, really everything. And yeah, I mean, let's hope to God if me and Enzo do make it to like 70, 80, depending on... I think we're fine health-wise, knock on wood. Yeah. It's more to do with like the planet and everything else. But I think we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't need to worry, love.
I'm like... I just don't have a be waiting for that to die. Like,
but
in a
you
chair,
will never be like that.
Because
you're not really the type to wait for anything in your life. You always go after what you want. So you won't be like that. I can't even see you in some ugly chair. Like,
please let the chair be at least pretty.
Literally, if we're like 80 and I see you in some ugly chair, like in a brown, and you put on weight and you're just flicking, watching like a soap, I'll literally be like, Enzo, get up.
But anyway, guys, what do you think about this? I hope you all, if you're watching this, like whatever you want to do or whatever you want to explore, go for it. Definitely.
And tell us, are you scared of getting old? Or are you excited about it? Are there some aspects of getting old that you're actually excited about? And what do you think is the key to youth as well? We would love to hear, and we will immediately implement those things into our lives.
Immediately.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Please do remember to like, share, subscribe, drop us a comment. And we'll see you next week. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
See ya.